Well, hello. Hope you're having a good day. This video is about my first full month driving for Amazon Flex and how'd it go? Did I make money? So it's kind of a numbers video. If you're driving for somebody, you really should know if you're making money or not. So here we go. I did 17 blocks and worked 60 and a half hours on those blocks. And that's based on the expected time. So 60 and a half hours, 17 blocks. My gross income was $1,494, and I spent $373 in gas. So that brings my net, well, I don't know if it's really net, but my after fuel cost down to $1,121 of income. As a side note here, I start every route with a full tank of gas, and when I'm done, I fill my car up when I'm just about home. So that keeps all my business fuel expense completely separate from my personal expense. It works really well. And I do use the Flex debit card. I get paid on that, and then I take my gas expenses out on that too, and I get a few cents a gallon discount doing it that way too. So anyway, back to regular program. So before the expenses, my hourly rate was $24.69 an hour. Not terrible. You take out the gas expense, and that drops down to $18.52 an hour. And that doesn't account for wear and tear, oil changes, things like that. But that's where we are, $18.52 an hour. I drove 1,843 miles for those blocks, which is a little over 100 miles a block on average. Again, I'm in a rural community, so there's just a lot of driving. Some of our metro fans would probably be appalled at those miles, but they are, and they're easy miles for the most part. The interesting thing about the miles is the tax deduction for business miles at the filming is 72.5 cents per mile. So my deduction based on that is $1,336. So following that formula, my taxable income would be $158. Now, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax person. I'll give this to my tax guy at tax time, but that's the math I have. So basically, I was paid 81 cents a mile to drive, and I was deducted 72.5 cents a mile. So that's a pretty thin spread there. A few things I've picked up on so far is, number one, the app is really good in a lot of ways, but the wayfinding's got some real serious quirks to it, so you have to be careful about that. The biggest thing I've seen is that the voice commands don't always run in sync with the map. In fact, sometimes it gives a voice command after you've made a turn, it says to turn. And sometimes it gets way ahead and it gives you, okay, your next 3 commands are this. Which is really distressing because I would rather keep my eyes on the road and not be looking at the app all the time. I love where they call driveways private roads. Now, being in the country, sometimes those driveways are a quarter mile long, or I've even had a couple of half a mile long because they're ranches or farms. I did have one route that was 2 hours that was just the route from hell, and I've put a video up here on that. It was a 2-hour block, and I don't think I'll ever take another 2-hour block. The 4.5 hour blocks where I'm at seem to be the really high mileage ones because you drive a long ways to a community, deliver in that community, and drive a long ways back. I had one block, 4-hour block, that had like 14 packages because I drove forever, made deliveries, drove back. I had another route, the opposite of that, was in town. I had like 45 packages, and I drove like 60 miles. But it was like drive a block, stop, had a couple next door. So they're very great. That's why I think the averages are more important. I'm kind of making money. I'm doing this for what my dad used to call folding money, and I'm not trying to live on this. I don't know if it would be workable as a full-time income or not, but there are a lot of people making a living gig driving, but they're not doing just one thing. And Flex is the only thing I'm doing. So those are my results after a month. Your mileage literally may vary a whole lot, especially depending on the size of the community you're in. So if you're driving, you've got some comments or some thoughts about how it's going, feel free to leave some comments. And thanks for watching.